Here it is. The hardest one Cynabal in New Eden. It is still hard to believe. And there's another Cynabal. Another Cynabal is undocking from the Boundless Creation Factory in Turner. Look at this. Flying information. It is incredible. Nice ship, my friend. Nice ship. What a moment. Wow. Two Cynabals in space together. And there he goes. Off to Zarzakh. I have to dock up though before this Moa gets any ideas. Okay, if my acting skills there, which I know are absolutely incredible, top thespian levels, if my acting skills took you in, let me confess, that was not a purely chance encounter. I asked Calvin and Hobbes to meet me here for a cameo because I wanted to highlight the fact that while I've been doing this grand adventure to build my Cynabal, there have been a lot of other people following along, not just watching and commenting, but also bootstrapping up their own runs. And Calvin and Hobbes, way back in March, was the first one to complete the Cruzakh challenge. Since then, there have been 4 others. I'm actually, when I fly into Zarzakh today, I am going to be not the first, but the 6th to complete the challenge that I devised. And there are other people on the Discord, which you should absolutely join. The link is always in the description. There are other people on the Discord who are documenting their own runs right now. You should definitely check them out because this, today, one way or another, no matter what happens, this is the finale of this series. You'll probably see Bill again. I might have 1 or 2 more videos in me, but they will be epilogues. This is the real wrap. So when this episode wraps today, if you find yourself thinking that you wish you could get a little bit more of what I've been doing here, on YouTube, there's Sir Slimestone, who has already completed a Corvette to Vigilant challenge and is now starting a new series where he pursues a Confessor Tech 3 Destroyer, which is going to have its own completely bonkers set of obstacles to overcome. He's a couple of episodes in. There's Damon Dasher, who is doing a more traditional Cruzakh run Corvette to Gila, and he's documenting it all on Twitch, live streaming it. And then also, there are 8 episodes right now of the adventures of Jane Honesty from Casparius, who, trust me, you want to watch it. He has a voice like a calming river. I don't think Casparius has quite decided yet what the ultimate goal of his run is going to be, but those early episodes of him bootstrapping his way up, they are a pure delight, and I can't recommend it highly enough. As for me, well, it's time to fit this Cynabal up and get it into Zarzakh, and then we'll see what happens there. But before we can do that, we need to go get our Tech 2 guns from Gel. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzakh, but he's not making it easy on himself. Okay, let us fit up a Cynabal. And if you've been watching this series and paying any attention at all, you will not be surprised to learn I'm fitting this Cynabal up for PvP. There are many different philosophies of fitting theory, but there are basically 4 things that any PvP ship, at least any solo PvP ship, absolutely needs. In roughly descending order of indispensability, we're talking about damage, control, tackle, and tank. Okay, I feel compelled to come at you now from the editing room with a quick clarification. I've talked before in other PvP videos about how I recommend on a solo PvP ship prioritizing good control over higher DPS. That is absolutely the case. What I meant here with that quip about indispensability is that you can win a fight without control, but you literally cannot win a fight if you don't have enough damage to break their tank. Back to the fit. So let's talk damage. Our damage output is obviously coming from the 4 Tech 2 720mm howitzers that we nearly killed ourselves building. We're also going to add 1 Gyro Stabilizer 2, which is PvP spoils of war that we pulled off of an unlucky rifter in faction warfare space. This gives us 318.7 DPS loaded with Quake, which is not a ton, but the fact that we can project it out to range, and especially that blam factor, the fact that we're doing nearly 3,000 hit points with every single volley, makes the Cynabal a real threat. Now, control. For a brawling ship, control is things like Afterburner, Stasis Web of Fire, but for this build, with us planning to operate outside of web range at all times, our control is all about speed and agility. So the first thing we need to put on here is a 50 MN micro warp drive. This gives us a speed unheated of nearly 2,500 meters per second because the Cynabal is a fast ship. We're generally going here for a kind of mid-range kite build. We really want to be operating out in like the 20 to 40 kilometer range most of the time, which means that we need to be faster than our opponents no matter what they're flying, and also we need to be nimble enough to make these small adjustments so that when they turn and try and cut us off or slingshot us into web range, that we can always maintain that speed edge. This strategy in small gangs is generally referred to as nano. It's called nano because a lot of the ships that fly this strategy are micro warp drive cruisers, and a lot of their prey are also micro warp drive cruisers, and you need to make sure that your micro warp drive cruiser is faster and more nimble than your opponent's micro warp drive cruiser, and the way you do that is by putting a nanofiber internal structure in the low slot. This gives you extra speed, it gives you extra agility, and we have a Tech 2 nanofiber that we did not have to build. We took this off of a covert op ship that we caught in a bubble in nullsec many episodes ago. So now that we've got our range control sorted, we need some tackle, and with this strategy, tackle is a one module concern. We are putting on a Warp Disruptor 2. This is another bit of PvP spoils from another poor soul that we killed in the faction warfare warzone. The Tech 2 Warp Disruptor is a huge win for this fit because the Tech 2 gives you an extra 4 kilometers of range over the Tech 1 and meta, and those 4 kilometers are going to be a matter of life or death when we're trying to seal a kill without getting webbed down. We can be in a position of absolute dominance, and if a web lands and someone gets under our artillery, the tide can turn very quickly. I am so glad to have a Tech 2 Warp Disruptor. Now, tank. Capacitor is going to be an ongoing concern for this build. You can see right here already that just running the Warp Disruptor and the Micro Warp Drive, our cap only lasts a minute 40. That's okay. The Warp Disruptor is very cap hungry and we won't be running it all the time, but it means that we definitely want to go with a buffer tank and not an active tank. So we're talking large shield extenders. You could get away with 1 large shield extender on a Cynabal that's trying to fight at range, but I feel more comfortable with 2. Fitting the second large shield extender, though, requires that I also put a fitting mod in the lows. This is actually a Dark Blood reactor control unit, which we got from a DED site, so I'm really glad to get a chance to run this little bit of bling. And I'm also using 2 rig slots to patch up our EM hole and expand our EHP just a little bit further. Oh, and I almost forgot the crown jewel of our tank. A Shadow Serpentis damage control worth 220 million ISK that we pulled from the only DD 5 of 10 that we ran. I'm so excited to be running this, and when Bill Toss Cynabal finally dies, I really hope that whoever kills me gets to loot it. That is the essentials taken care of. We've still got a few slots left, and I'm going to fill them with more damage and especially more application. Application is the real science of doing damage to people in EVE Online. It doesn't matter how high your raw DPS numbers are if you aren't hitting your opponent. And on that note, one of the big weaknesses of the Cynabal is actually its lock range. With our skills, the Cynabal can only target an opponent out to 56 kilometers. That's far further range than anything we would have been worrying about with any of the other ships we've flown in this run, but with artillery, we could be doing damage out to 70 kilometers or more, so it is a real shame that we'll drop lock at 56 kilometers. And if someone's burning at us, they might easily be at 40 by the time we actually get a lock on them. This is why you'll see a lot of PvP Cynabal builds running a sensor booster in the mids. I'm not going to run a sensor booster in the mids, but what I am going to do is I'm going to fill this extra low slot we have with a signal amplifier. Signal amplifier is basically the same thing as a sensor booster, except that it's a passive always-on module instead of an active module, and as a result, it gives a little bit less of a boost. With this one sensor booster, our targeting range goes up to 71.63 kilometers, which I think is quite enough for our purposes. And then, in this last mid slot, if I were building this ship on my main and just buying things off the market, I would probably put a tracking computer here. Tracking computer is like the gold standard of application modules for turrets. It gives you additional range and it gives you additional tracking, and you can script it to give you just range or just tracking depending on what your needs are. We don't really need additional range, but our artilleries really will highly benefit from extra tracking. But here's an interesting thing that you may not know. In the formula, in the calculation for damage that you apply to a moving target, tracking speed is one variable, but that formula also takes into account the signature radius of the ship you're shooting at. And in fact, those two things are completely equivalent. They are directly proportional to one another. If someone's trying to shoot you and you cut your signature radius in half, that is the same as having their tracking speed, which means if we're trying to shoot somebody else and we want to double our tracking speed, we could alternately double their signature radius. So the module I'm actually going to put here is a domination target painter. We got this module from the Epic Arc the first time we ran it, and I love the flavor of putting it on the Cynabal now. When we activate this target painter on someone we're trying to shoot, we will bloom their signature radius by 40%. That gives us the exact same effect as if we had a faction tracking computer with a tracking script in, and we don't have a faction tracking computer. We don't even have a Tech 2 tracking computer. We would be using a meta tracking computer. So even though this might seem like an unorthodox module to put on a solo artillery Cynabal, I actually think that this is a strict improvement for us over the meta tracking computer that we'd otherwise put here and which no one would look twice at. As for our last rig slot, I'm just gonna slam in there a medium projectile collision accelerator to pump our alpha damage up above 3,000. And then we've got one high slot left, and not a lot of fitting room. Nothing we could fit in this high slot with the grid and CPU we have available would make a huge difference for us. So what I'm going to put up here is a small newt. Hopefully we will never actually use it, but if a frigate does manage to get tackle on us, this is going to help a little bit in trying to break that tackle and GTFO, which is also the main purpose that we're going to be using our drones for. The Cynabal has a 50 cubic meter drone bay and 50 megabits per second of bandwidth, so we could run a full flight of medium drones, but I actually think that would be a mistake. Sure, a full flight of medium drones is the best way to maximize our DPS, but at the range that we're going to be fighting, we have to think about how long it's going to take those drones to fly from us to our target, and how well the drones are going to be able to apply against a moving target that isn't webbed. So I'd actually rather run a full flight of small drones, which is still pretty good DPS, and if we use the Acolyte 2s that we built from scratch, then they're actually quite fast and might be enough to, on their own, take out a frigate that gets underneath our guns. And that still leaves us another 25 cubic meters, which we can fill with a flight of light ECM drones for last-ditch pocket sand. Although, one of those Hornet EC300s doesn't look quite right. I think we have an imposter. It's Horatio. Horatio is coming with us to Zarzakh. You've earned it, little buddy. Let's go. And so, this is the fit. This is what we are taking to Zarzakh. Is it exactly what I would have built on my main if I had access to the market and could put anything I wanted on a Cynabal? No, certainly not. At the very least, I would have spent my bling in different places. I would not be running a Shadow Serpentis damage control. I'd be running a faction or DD micro warp drive and maybe faction shield extenders. But there is nothing in this fit that I need to be embarrassed about. This is a totally capable solo PvP Cynabal, and I am excited to finally get the chance to shoot someone with it. So let's go to Zarzakh. Okay, this is it. We are warping to Zarzakh. We are 18.1 AU and 1 gate jump away from crossing off our ultimate goal. Through we go. We're in Zarzakh. It's real. Here we are. Home. Home at last. And there are a lot of Cynabals and Dromiels here. It looks like they're all friends, though. Look at this. Look at them all. We came here to join the Angel Cartel. And the Angel Cartel has come to join us. Which four wants us to join their fleet? Do we accept? The challenge is done. We are no longer bound to our solo rules. We can join a fleet. Just a second, I gotta get on their comms. This is building a Cynabal, and I'm excited to fly in my very first fleet ever. Thank you for having me. Oh, actually, yeah, let me dock up in the fulcrum for 1 second to drop some stuff off. Here we are in warp, in a Zarzakh warp tunnel to the fulcrum home station of the Deathless. Really, we accomplished what we set out to do as soon as we jumped through this gate, but I am glad we are taking a moment to dock up in this unique station at the center of it all. Look at this. Here we are. Oh, and that's Finnegan in the hold. Finnegan the fish is coming with us. Welcome to the Fulcrum, home of the Deathless, home of the Angel Cartel and Garista's war effort. It is from here that we will set out to cause the havoc we intend to cause with Switch 4 and our new friends. But first, these Neuralink conduits. I'm going to send a quick message to Kalela Oterold, official Capsuleer representative of the Angel Cartel. Dear Warlord Oterold, I have assembled a Cynabal class cruiser for glorious battle in accordance with the plans entrusted to me by Cadeha Dulce. Upon completion of the ship construction process, however, I found that I had several of the listed parts left over. The Cynabal seems to be fully functional, so I trust that these components were not essential. I am delivering them to you here in the hopes that they will be of some use elsewhere in the war effort. Now, I go to wreak destruction with my cartel brethren, yours, building a Cynabal. Let's go. Okay guys, I've done what I need to do. We can get moving. Thanks for bearing with me.
No problem at all. Get undocked and we'll start moving. Bounce around the war zone and see what we can find. Everybody jumped up to her.
Five Volgos and Alba.
Medium advanced. Ooh. Can all of our tackle go there?
Coming.
Go.
Tackle everything. Spread all the points.
I got a tackle on King. Oh fuck,
They're all king. Just start.
HP.
Pick one point. Blap them. Start blapping.
Apparently this site is contested.
Split your guns. There's a stabber
And then
fleet somewhere.
Astero.
Stabber fleet. Try to tackle him. He's probably
Turn
gonna
him
go.
back to Gabe.
Jump! Everybody jump after him! Jump after him! Jump after him! Jump after him! Tackle the SFI on the other side if you can.
Tackled. Tackled.
Blap him! Blap him! Blap him! Blap him! Blap him!
Is he burning back?
Nope, he's gonna die.
Yeah, very nice.
Blap the SFI guys.
Probably not gonna get on this because you guys do so much fucking alpha.
Entering Structura. He's repping armor. He died.
Damn it!
There's 2 Vargers in here?
He's pointed. He's pointed. Get in here. Get in here.
We're coming, we're coming, we're
The
coming.
NPC pointed him.
Bush in, bush in, bush in, bush in. Everybody bush in. Do you have a secondary point?
Not yet. I'm burning. We need a scram on him though. I'm about to damp him.
I have a scrum.
Call scrams on him, please. Call additional points. Overheat props, guys. Overheat props. Burn for him.
We need a scram on him though.
Yep, overheat points. Call scram.
He's damped and warp disrupted.
Scrumped.
Okay.
Logi, get ready to rip. They are shooting me. Do we have Logi here?
Logi's here.
Can you rep me? It's in range.
He is not ripping at all. He's just dying.
Trying to get closer.
I'm gonna warp off then.
Lot of range.
That's fine. I'm warping. Fine. He doesn't have point. He doesn't have point.
He's sensor damage times 2 tank as well.
Fuck him up. He's gonna die there.
So what's going to happen if you lose the
Ocator?
ship you build?
Oh.
Like it gets
Nuke the Ocator, nuke the Ocator. Somebody tackle the Gnosis, tackle the
Pointed.
Gnosis.
Pointed.
Kill the Ocator first, kill the Ocator first, then the Gnosis.
I'm down.
Gnosis is tackling.
Nose is scrumped.
Gnosis crashed. Kill the Ocator. Cool.
That was a
possibly.
2 billionist Ocator. It had 5 signables in it.
Holy shit!
The hell?
Just pick up the planet.
That's right. We did the thing that people have been joking about in the YouTube comments and on the Discord since like episode 2. We killed a deep space transport that had in its hold 5 Cynabal hulls. None of them dropped. This was an incredible roam, so I want to thank Switch 4 so much for organizing it, and I want to thank every single person who came out on the fleet. And so, after an hour and a half of successful murder, we decided to head back to Amamake, call it a night, and dock up. And then, just as we're about to jump through the Amamake gate, our scouts call out that they've got a Mimitar militia, Vexor Navy issue, on the other side. They also say he might have some friends. It's the last jump. This is how it goes. I want to prepare you for what happens next. Things get wild. And at first, I'm flying pretty reasonably, but the targets get called very fast, and there comes a point where the red fog descends and your ship just turns into a turret as you click the targets as fast as they're called. And you may not notice a Brutix sneaking up on you.
Go for stunt Cupid, stunt Cupid, stunt Cupid. Go for stunt. In the VNI, stunt Cupid's primary. Stunt Cupid's primary, stunt Cupid's primary. Stunt Cupid's primary, stunt Cupid's primary, then we're gonna do Mama Chelly, Mama Chelly. Mama Chelly in the HFI, Mama Chelly in the HFI. Mama Chelly's primary, Mama Chelly's primary. Then not a bot in the Thrasher. Lock up Acolyte White in the Brutix.
Dicky's
Kill not a bot now, kill not a. Kill Notabot and the Thrasher, then we're gonna kill Sticky Mickey the Eni, kill Sticky Mickey the Eni. Kill Notabot. Lock up Commander Rust. Commander Rust in the Brutix is now primary. Commander Rust in the Brutix is now primary. Commander Rust is primary. Commander Rust is primary. Commander Rust is primary. Switch to Heavy Kevy in the VNI. Heavy Kevy in the VNI. Switch to Heavy Kevy in the VNI. Heavy Kevy in the VNI is not primary. Next is going to be Commander Amos in the Drake Navy. Commander Amos, are we holding it all?
Just lost a semi.
Kill Heavy Kevy. He'll kill Heavy Kevy. Kill Heavy Kevy. Come on, kill Heavy Kevy, guys. Kill Heavy Kevy. He's almost down. Can we kill Heavy Kevy?
Down.
All right, now kill Commander Amos in the Drake Navy now. Commander Amos in the Drake Navy's primary. Everything's on
Taking
Commander
heavy damage.
Amos. Secondary is going to be Jedi Masters in the SFI. Tertiary is going to be Mighty in the SFI. Primary is Commander Amos in the Drake Navy. Secondary is Jedi Masters in the SFI. Tertiary is Mighty in the SFI. Alright, kill the Jedi now. We're killing Jedi now. Jedi in the SFI. Everything's on Jedi and then Mighty. Jedi and then Mighty.
Full tertiary.
Tertiary is going to be Acolyte White in the Brutix. Kill Jedi and then Mighty. Jedi and then Mighty.
We got more stuff coming in.
Now kill Mighty. Kill Mighty in the SFI. Mighty in the SFI. What is that Falcon doing? Where is that Falcon?
Oh, I'm going down.
Overload hopes and dreams.
They still got more coming. Start breaking range, guys. Break range. Shoot Acolyte White while you break range. Break range. You'll just keep bringing more and more and more. It's a never ending.
Oh, here it goes.
Can we
Here it
burn down to
goes.
that Falcon.
The
Burn down
end.
to the Falcon of 8th of Mary.
Beautiful.
Burn down to the Falcon of 8th.
This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal, get to Zarzakh, and join the Angel Cartel. And that's a wrap, you guys. I wouldn't have had it end any other way. Oh well, the Cynabal is a silly ship anyways.